Stop your yapping and start digging.
Your Majesty? Are you well?
Yes. Yes, but the stench.
Yes?
As ordered.
Off to the front yet again.
Very good.
Left, right, left, right.
Quiet. The Commissar will hear. Water is the poison.
A knight should help. Our codex commands it.
I smell a leak.
We must trust each other.
So much anger and suffering. For what?
Again and again and again.
Kazel!
You mad? Don't shake that!
Through it!
Give me a time.
Storyteller! Attack!
Feel any burning? See a local healer or wise woman.
Our ballista, your command.
Farmagam!
Scheiß! In Trey!
Ever have a storm knock out one of your teeth? Retreat! Have it the white of an eye from half a league away.
Off to the front yet again.
Entering the swamp's easy. Trouble's getting out. Entering the swamp's easy. Trouble's getting out.
In the distance, Meve spotted a spindle-like shape, which soon proved an enormous, dark obelisk. It stood in the middle of a wetland clearing. Dozens of iron rings dangled from its shaft, clinking and rattling in gusts of wind. Cows, donkeys, and dogs were gathered round the stone, all tied to the rings by ropes. Their hides showed many shallow cuts, seeping blood, festering, drawing mosquitoes in swarms. A number of the animals struggled against their cords, while others, near dead, lay still in the wet, tall grass. Across the clearing, folk emerged from the woods, a handful of peasants with a mule in tow. The beast resisted, stomped and planted its hooves, perhaps sensing its gruesome fate. The Queen decided to question the peasants, and soon learned the animals were their sacrifice to the swamp gods.
They're all about, dearie. Very close. Oh, very, very close.
The toothless old woman whispered.
They hide neath murky waters. Can't feed when they hear the drip, drip of blood. The gods look kindly on those what make an offering.
All lands have their customs. All lands have their gods,
said Meve.
'Twould be rash to offend them. We too must make an offering.
The crone was pleased and eager, and did nothing to hide it. When the soldiers came forth with an ox, she helped tie its lead to a ring on the stone. She then took a bone knife to the skin over its ribs and sliced. Blood trickled, the water turned red, and then it boiled.
Gods accept your offering, milady,
said the old woman, her smile toothless midst a face craggy as bark.
And we'd like to thank you for respecting our ways. Come round village. Grub and drink'll be ample, then the tale's right strange, I dare say.
Meve took the crone up on her offer. The hamlet proved exceedingly modest, but the villagers prepared a welcome deserving of their guests. At long last, the Lyrians could enjoy a warm meal and dry their ever-wet clothes. The old hag spun her tales the whole night through, of the elves who once lived there, of Iskith's bogs, of dead trees that bore ghastly fruit, and finally, of Guernicora, the swamp's supreme mistress and most highly revered deity. The Lyrians left the village the following morn, their eyes rested, their bellies full.
Share your blood, and the Mistress of Iskith will show you favor.
In Angren, all decomposes, be it dead or very much alive. Rot blights trees, seeping sores torment beasts, and the whole swamp emits the acrid, stifling stench of decay. So when, in the swamp's distant corner, the Lyrians caught whiffs of smoke and roasted meat, they stopped dead in their tracks. The scouts followed their noses to a clearing framed by a palisade. Through the gaps in the posts, they spotted a small fort.
Any banners upon it? Whose do you see?
Asked the Queen.
There aren't none, your grace. Not one golden sun, not one silver lily.
Meve gave the gate a few solid knocks with her shield. Moments later, a dozen armed men appeared atop the rampart. The one who led them wore a beard.
Who are you? Why are you here?
I'm Meve, Queen of Lyria and Rivia. At war with Nilfgaard, I ventured into these swamps.
Is there a war on? Hey, that's news. Certainly, but little concern to me. The name's Gimpy Gerwin and I rule these lands.
Is that so? As conferred upon you by whom?
By me! Angren's a good bit larger than folk think. And no dukes or emperor's fingers stand to reach its every corner. Thus I just up and took this particular nook. Made it mine. So let's parley, Meve. One ruler to another. At the risk of being blunt, I don't care who wins this war. But I want to be in good standing with whoever does. So, I offer you a fire at which to warm your limbs. Also, a place at my table and beds for you to rest. On condition, you pledge to me one very small thing. To respect the sacred laws of hospitality.
So be it. I do solemnly swear before the gods and my ancestors that we shall honor all the laws of hospitality.
Then you're most welcome inside.
The fort was simple, built of logs, covered with thatch. Oh, but inside, it was warm, dry. Hot, steaming dishes were piled upon platters, the tables beneath them bent from their weight. Smiles appeared on her soldiers' drained faces, and Meve's spirits were lifted at last. Gerwin proved a cordial host, and eagerly shared both food and tales. He'd led a mercenary band, and they'd stumbled into Angren, discovered a land unclaimed by any feudal lord. He'd erected the fort, then united the surrounding villages under his very own rule.
The folk here are savage, defiant,
he said, sipping wine.
I keep them on a tight lead for their own good. Elsewise they'd slit your throat first chance they got.
Late that night, Meve went to see if her mare had been dressed. In the stable, she happened on a farmhand. Recognizing the Queen, the man fell to his knees and averted his eyes. Meve noticed a strange object dangling from a rope around his neck. A human hand half rotted to the bone.
What? What is that?
Me wife's hand, your grace.
Stammered the peasant.
Lord Gerwin caught her sneaking some grub. Scraps, really. Took her and told me to wear it. So I'd remember what happens when...
Meve left the stable without uttering another word. She went straight to the servants' barracks. In the pale glow of her torch, she looked over the peasants. All terrified, all with fresh, bleeding wounds. The Queen felt rage rise inside her. The Queen blew her horn. Lyrian soldiers filled the yard. They hastily donned their armor, strapped on their swords. Unsure of Meve's intentions, Gerwin's men likewise stood at the ready, weapons in hand.
Gerwin!
Roared Meve.
Get out here at once!
The stout mercenary stood at his window, glaring from beneath his furrowed brow.
I don't know what you think you're doing,
He called.
but I'd kindly remind you of your oath and the laws.
I've seen your laws. You're strict and they're cruel. So your rule will end now. Attack!
I didn't think a queen would so easily break her word.
Awaiting your orders.
I live to serve you.
Coin never stinks, no matter how rank the pouch.
To arms!
Give me a target.
Try them!
You did the right thing. We should never turn a blind eye to others' suffering.
Catch! Awaiting your orders.
Again and again and again.
Sod it. Sod it all.
I think you'll really like this one.
Don't like this.
Elven blarney.
Army's a waste of time for one like me.
Cursed traitors. Sod it. Sod it all. March on, march on.
For you, pal! Anything.
Remove this pile of manure from my sight.
Lame as he was, Gerwin had been a mercenary. He fought hard, he fought well, yet still proved no match for Meve. She knocked his axe from his hand, he fell to his knees, then she cleaved his head clear off. It rolled like a gourd and came to rest at the peasant's feet.
You've your freedom back,
Growled Meve as she wiped her sword.
yet do not take it for granted. Nilfgaard is in Angren. The Blackclads will come here too. As long as the golden sun flies over the marsh, you must hide in the woods.
Meve's force left the fort before dawn. She rode at the fore, lips pursed, jaw clenched. A stain on her honor. She'd broken her word. Apart from all else, it stung on the inside.
We're free. It is the truth. The gods bless you, your majesty. That Gerwin bloke were a monster, my lady. A monster. Worse nor a pack of ghouls. Pack? No, worse nor a swarm. 1 month he kept me in darkness. And I only busted a tankard. I'll not stay here. 'Tis an evil place. Rather go with ye, even if I'm to fight Blacklads along the way.
Beware! The bloody mistress despises those who kill her servants.
Ugh, we're only winter here. Swamp'd freeze over. Kill the skeeters dead.
Milady, you've a tick behind your ear. Looks he's about to burst.
Ugh, we're only...
Milady, milady.
Beware! Beware!
Ugh.
The scouts rode at the fore, with Meve right behind them. Their task, to find safe passage for the rest of the force. One among them probed for the quagmire's depth, a pole of 5 ells in hand. Suddenly, all heard a loud clang. The scouts dismounted, then heaved a bronze statue from the mire. Once it was cleaned of slime and muck, Meve instantly recognized its elven handiwork. The sculpture was exceedingly well preserved, save one detail. Someone had removed its face, leaving a black hole in its stead.
Search the environs,
ordered Meve. Amongst some brambles, they discovered the entrance to a vast tomb. Its doors had been torn open. On the ground before them lay scattered bones, some yellowed with age, others fresh, cracked and tattered from having been gnawed. Meve stood silent and contemplating at the tomb's threshold. Then, torch in hand, she entered and waded into fetid waters. Her soldiers followed close, arms at the ready, a nervous sweat on their brows. Frescoes on the tomb walls depicted Angren swamps and the beasts that prowled them. 2 words were inscribed over the largest of the horrors: Gwent Iker.
The bloody mistress,
Barnabas Beckenbauer whispered. Suddenly, a roar thundered from deeper inside the tomb. Meve turned from the frescoes to see monstrous eyes blazing in the dark. Even Ake's normally steely mien betrayed a raw, consuming fear.
To me! We'll not die this day!
As you command.
Ever have a storm knock out one of your teeth?
Naturally. At once.
Prepare to fight, if you've any honor.
It's so dark and wet. Why is it everywhere we go it's dark and wet?
Left, right, left, right.
Storyteller! Attack!
March on, march on.
For the Queen!
Make love, not war.
I fear not, for faith guides me.
Enough chit-chat. Draw your weapon.
I smell a leak.
My pain serves a purpose. Oh, could murder a pint.
think that's the last of them. But keep your weapons at the ready.
In her torch's feeble glow, the Queen examined the beast's corpse. She could not help but to shudder in disgust.
Perhaps it's better,
she thought,
that we faced it in the dark.
At the corridor's end, they found a closed door. Before any could draw near, it opened with a crash. Beyond lay a circular room. Light shone through a hole in the chamber's ceiling, illuminating a stone pedestal and the sword that lay upon it.
The air in here, it crackles with magic,
whispered Isbel. Meve gripped the blade's hilt. A soothing warmth filled her arms and spread across her shoulders. Her tired muscles ceased trembling. Her fingers, stiff as sticks, relaxed. She brandished her prize, the air hissing as the blade sliced through it. She then nodded approvingly. The reward had been worth the risk. Barnabas Beckenbauer, a gleam in his eye, asked to look at the unsheathed sword. The gnome studied the quillions intently, having spotted an inscription there.
Can you say what's written there?
Asked Meve.
Yes, perhaps. They're clear, the words. Their meaning, not necessarily so. Wieldeth me, and loseth not hope amongst the blood-red waters.
It sounds like a riddle that I've no wish to solve. We should move on, and quickly so.
Meve rode at the front, her eyes fixed on the ground, and thus spotted the pit masked by leaves and branches. She tugged hard on her reins and steered her mount to the side. Alas, the cavalryman behind her did not follow her lead. Leaves rustled, boughs snapped, and the horseman crashed to the pit's bottom, snapping his neck. Moments later, it was clear who'd set the trap when the forest came alive and a cry rang out.
It's a trap! Rally to me!
We must trust each other.
My scars? No, they don't hurt.
Her Majesty is exceptional.
There, gloire!
Oh, could murder a pint.
Everything all right?
Is that why?
gloire!
I think you'll really like this one.
Water is the poison.
Elven blarney.
Naturally. At once.
Hail cats out!
Left, right, left, right.
Alba!
Again and again and again.
Excellent, Seifel!
Make love, not war.
Elhurter!
Coin never stinks, no matter how rank the pouch.
God's blast it! My breastplate chafes.
Enough chit-chat. Draw your weapon.
Yes. My pain serves a purpose.
Exzellent, Seifel!
God save the Queen!
Catch!
Elhurter!
A highly curious case.
Retreat! Fall back!
Caught between Lyrian hammer and Skelligan stone, Nilfgaard was shattered, destroyed. The victors now stood eyeing each other. These islanders were not like those Meve had met before. They wore no armor and carried no shields. At their fore stood a man as stout as an ox and bald as an ancient ghoul. His men called him Arnulf, the patricide.
I thank you for your aid, Arnulf,
said Meve, extending a hand.
Aid, she says. Aid? Do you hear that, mates?
The Skelligers exchanged glances, then erupted in roaring laughter.
Not here to help yous, not at all. We're after killing.
Join me and you shall have your fill.
Join nuisance? Just who the hell are you?
Meve, Queen of Rivia and Lyria.
Meve?
Arnulf said, his tone sobering.
I know the name. Lippy Goodman called ye bold, praised your courage to the high heaven. So be it. We'll follow you into fire, wench. Just let us taste of blood. Grant us a death worthy of heroes.
Meve couldn't help but smile, then nodded to accept. The Lyrians stepped aside as tattooed warriors joined their ranks.